Let's talk about the use of a VPN for buying, selling, and trading crypto. So there's been some people, especially last year on YouTube, that will go out and get like a NordVPN affiliate link, which I also did. And I have a prior video on the channel talking about VPN, and I spoke to these points during that video as well. However, as we are getting into the go time potentially, right, for crypto, and because I don't think that I did as good of a job as what I would have liked to in the previous video, I wanted to revisit the subject of VPN. So VPN creates what is known as a virtual private network. It essentially creates an encrypted tunnel across an existing network. So for example, you grab your laptop or your tablet or your phone or whatever, and you go down to the airport or a coffee house or someplace where they have public Wi-Fi, and you connect to your VPN because you want to be more secure, or maybe because you're working for a corporation, and to get onto the intranet with the company, you need to be on the VPN. With regards to crypto though, a lot of the messaging that I've seen is just dead wrong. They'll tell you you have to have a VPN in order to secure your connection so that people don't rob you when you buy, sell, or trade crypto. And that's just completely not true. Now, it can be helpful for some people that are not aware of any of the things that I'm going to be talking about in this video. And I think one of the reasons for that would be simply because whether you're using Surfshark or NordVPN or whatever VPN, if you go down to your local Starbucks and you connect to Wi-Fi and then your VPN won't connect, there can be a number of reasons for that. But one of the reasons for it could be that you actually mistakenly connected to the wrong network. Like you might be on somebody's fake hotspot where they're just looking to capture your traffic, usernames and passwords, and get access to your accounts and rob you potentially. That said though, if you, in the same situation, if you went down to say like a local Starbucks and you got on their Wi-Fi and then you don't have a VPN or you didn't connect to the VPN and you go and you log on to Coinbase, for example, websites today almost universally have an SSL certificate. SSL means secure socket layer. It's encrypted, right? So it's either going to have 128-bit encryption or 256-bit encryption, and that encryption is going to be within your web browser, like Internet Explorer, Safari, SeaMonkey, Brave, LibreWolf, Firefox, whatever browser you're using. And it's going to be between the browser on your device or your computer and the website you're connected to. So whether you're logging into your bank website or your retirement website or to a centralized exchange like Coinbase, you'll see in a lot of browsers, there'll be an indication that you have a secure connection. And then typically there's going to be a warning if you do not have a secure connection. And that SSL certificate is already providing encryption for that connection. Now, that said, especially if you're not very technically inclined, it would make no sense to go down to the local library, the local coffee shop, and connect to the public Wi-Fi, and then decide to do your banking or your 401k or your Roth IRA or your crypto trading on that network. Now, I understand that there are some people around the world that have different circumstances than some of the people in other parts of the world, like myself here in the United States. So if you find that you really don't have connectivity from home for, it's not available or whatever the case may be, and you're not particularly technically savvy, and you're nervous about, what's going on, okay, getting a VPN, it's not like the end of the world. But I want to make clear that you don't strictly need to have a VPN. It's just wrong. It's just factually incorrect. Now, another use case for VPN would be when people are GeoIP restricted. So for example, I'm a citizen of the United States of America. I can't go to MEXC or BingX because it's going to say, oh, we're sorry. We've detected that you're in an area, in a country where we don't do business. And you can get around that with a VPN. Now, here's the thing. When you go to a place like MEXC or BingX or any other site, they know what IP you're connecting from. So when you sign in and connect to NordVPN or any other VPN, you are now using, or effectively, your connection is coming from wherever you are. It's going out across the internet and it's going to, for example, NordVPN, and then it's leaving NordVPN out of one of NordVPN's public IP addresses. And from there, it's establishing the connection to MEXC. MEXC can see that, so if they decide one day that they're not having it anymore and they decide to stop accepting connections from NordVPN, and here you're sitting on $1,000 worth of Medicaid that you bought, or MCAID that you bought through MEXC because you couldn't buy it on Coinbase or whatever exchange you normally would use that's not GeoIP restricted, then you're potentially in a bad spot, right? So if you are going to go the route of using a VPN to get around GeoIP restrictions, then my recommendation to you would be to make sure that you go ahead and you set up accounts in advance on multiple other exchanges. MEXC, BingX, and maybe Kraken, various exchanges, and just maybe buy $10 or $20 worth of crypto, withdraw it to a self-custody wallet, maybe transfer it back and then sell it or swap it. You just want to do a little bit playing around with it just to kind of make sure that the exchanges that you're signing up for and getting prepped so that they're available, hopefully, the moment that you need it, because whatever crypto you bought just did a 10x and now you want to sell, and maybe your preferred exchange where you bought it, suddenly it's not available, either because there's so many people trying to connect to the exchange, it can't respond to your connection attempt, or whether because they're blocking your VPN traffic, or whatever the reason, right? So then you'd have a fallback or two or three, because if you use a VPN, so like in my situation, I typically just use Coinbase. Now, if I connect to NordVPN, I can log into MEXC, and then on MEXC, I could buy MCAID. And if I did that, and then I'm staring down the barrel of like a 38x, and then I go to sell, but now suddenly I can't get back onto MEXC for any reason, now I'm in panic mode, right? Because I've got, say $1,000 sunk into this speculative asset, and I want to sell for the $38,000 that it's not worth, right? So now I'm going to try BingX, or I'm going to try, some other exchange until I can make a connection and sell the crypto, actually take profits. And that's also one of the reasons that I didn't actually go that route, is because I kept thinking to myself, I don't want to find myself in that situation. Now, in hindsight, really what I should have done is exactly what I'm talking about doing right now, which is get multiple exchanges set up and tested in advance. In fact, I would potentially even possibly buy a second VPN service just to make sure that I have at least 2 VPN services that will allow me this type of functionality to use something like MEXC. That way, if the VPN service goes down, or if the NordVPN gets blocked, well, now I can use Surfshark as just an example. I'm not saying, these are the greatest VPNs to use. These are just examples. And then in addition to that, I would have failovers for other exchanges. So if I wanted to use MEXC, but suddenly I can't connect to and use MEXC either with NordVPN or with Surfshark, well, now I can go and try BingX. And now I have 2 different exchanges to try and 2 different VPNs to use to get it done. Now, another thing that you could do, which is not as easy for most people, you really should probably be technically inclined, technically experienced. But another thing that a person could potentially do is, again, just use an example. I'm a citizen of the United States of America. I live and reside in the United States of America. So what I could do is I could find a company in, Germany, Portugal, Spain, Italy, any number of places outside of the United States. And I could try to find a company that has data centers in some other country other than the United States of America that offers cloud servers, like a Windows cloud server. And then I can just use remote desktop connection or remote desktop protocol to connect from my computer in the United States, across the internet to a cloud server. And then on the remote desktop connection, I could open a browser window, start a session, and then go log into MEXC in order to make the transaction that way. Because what a VPN does is it's gonna allow you to use a different IP address, to put it simply, for your connection. Well, if you're connected to a cloud server and you're using the website like MEXC from the cloud server, it's effectively accomplishing the same thing. It's changing the IP address that they see you connecting from, and thereby getting around the GeoIP restriction. But as far as the stuff where, you got to use VPN, it's, you got to secure, no, that's total BS. There's an individual that comes to mind that used to do that pretty heavily last year, and I kind of feel like calling him out, but probably not the best way to grow a channel and to get people to want to subscribe and watch videos. I'm not saying that I won't ever call out individuals for their BS. It's just there has to be a pretty good reason to call out an individual specifically, because that can open up a whole mess of problems that I just don't want to deal with. And when I went into creating this video, I was gonna totally do exactly that. I was gonna show the channel and show the myriad of times that they've tried to promote VPN, claiming that you really need it for security. And again, no, you don't really. Anyways, though, I just wanted to take a few minutes to hopefully help clarify this for some of you in order to help you in 2025 to make some better informed decisions.